Oh man, boy. Do you know what it is? I feel like I could see this coming from a while back, guys. I really could. Because the moment, the moment Whitney and Locken was voted the most favorite couple, I knew for a fact it was at that moment they became a target, not just a target for the other islanders, but also a target for the public. Because you will have a lot of people saying that Whitney and Locken made this get to their heads and then they're acting out. When in actual fact, Whitney has never changed Whitney from the moment she got into that villa. Outspoken, will always say what she feels and will always tell whatever truth she feels is truth, right? She's never changed. She's always been that person. So for the people that's going to say that this got to her heads, let's not lie about it. I'm just saying this. Second of all, she's also been made a target for her fellow islanders. And it is the fact. And it doesn't matter how close you are to a person. It just happens. And we're all human beings. And it's just a problem. But anyways, guys, before I go any further into the video, I'm just going to ask you guys to give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so you get updated every single time I upload a new video. So let's be honest. This challenge, it did what it's meant to do, okay? It was given chaos, drama, and a whole lot of disaster, okay? Because this is where the class came out and you got to see people's true personality, right? So obviously Abby and Scott got heated with Ella and Mitch, and that was messy. Like, what was that? I felt like I was like, I was literally playing ping pong with my eyes. Like, I didn't know what to do. I'm just like, this is quite messy. It's great TV, but it's quite messy, the back and forth. But in actual truth, like, who started it? Scott did, right? Scott basically started it because he gave the first blow when he said that we all stayed away from Abby because you were single for 3 weeks and we wanted you to hook up with somebody. That was below the belt. It was below the belt. And then the instigator being Zach the instigator, telling Mitch that he had to say something back in return. I felt like had Zach not said that, Mitch would have left it. Which goes back to my point of why are people so easily influenced? If you're normal, if it's not natural for you to clap back, then leave it. Do you know what I mean? Be true to yourself. If you're somebody that will clap back instantly, clap back. If you're not somebody who would clap back and you'd have a discussion later on, be that person. Do you know what I'm saying? But Zach obviously added fuel to the flame and told Mitch, you know what, you need to kind of say something back. And obviously, Mitch did his piece by saying, listen, they're fake, and he could have gotten back Abby. The only reason why Scott and Abby are together is because he didn't want Abby. There are some truth to it, because to be fair, when you actually look at it, guys, do you know what I mean? Abby wanted Mitch, and Mitch was the one that was confused. So had Mitch said, I want Abby, then let's face it, Abby and Scott would not be a thing. And I want you guys to pay attention because when Whitney voted Abby and Scott, right? Whitney said that obviously she voted them because Abby was still interested in Mitch, which is true. She can play it down and deny it and whatever she wants to say, but we all know it's true. And then she went on to say, and like, obviously, Scott is not showing much interest in the situation, right? And that for me was quite clear because even when she said that, oh, Scott, have you got a clap back? Remember, Whitney and Scott are like very close. They've both said it. They're actually one of the closest in the villa, right? So if Whitney's saying this and Scott is not even clapping back, and even Whitney said, is there a clap back, Scott? And Scott says nothing. He laughs. And then she said, if Scott doesn't clap back, then that means it's true. And then somebody else said something. And then Scott said, no, I'm the only one that could top Whitney. And he chose not to, which means it is true. And then Sammy went on saying, listen, like I've seen them having conversation. I've seen Abby and Scott having conversation. And Abby's always the one talking. And Scott is just one word. And it's so obvious because when they're having a conversation at the end, Abby's there talking. And Scott like, yeah. Yeah, and I think even her at one point picked up on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was highlighted, she picked up on it and she went, you know what? I'm always talking and you're not really saying much. And he's just like, oh, but that doesn't mean anything. I think initially, if Scott was actually into Abby in Cashmore, he would have made a move for her. and even Abby herself said it when Scott had made a play for her. She said, you know, it's funny how you never showed me any interest. I feel like you're playing a game. When that didn't work out, Scott left it, right? Scott left it. But then, you know, she chose Mitch, and then now Scott and her are trying to get together and try to see if something is there. I honestly just feel Scott is just doing it because he's single. He's just trying to, you know, see what it is. Basically trying to be in a couple. She's available, and that's what he's gone with, right? I know Scott said that, you know, he didn't like pull Ella B for a chat, but Ella B didn't really pull him much as well. She didn't really show much interest in Scott. Her interest was basically in Ty, and then it went straight to Mitch, right? So it's not like she actually showed Scott any interest either. Do you know what I'm saying? But it got really messy. Do I think that Ty and Ella should have voted Whitney and Lockin a smugged couple? I don't think so. If I'm being honest, I don't think where they've been smugged. I feel like they've kept to themselves. They've kept humble. They've both remained humble in the situation. And I know the public is going to say that, yeah, Whitney let the vote get to her head and whatever, because when they chose her and Lockin with a couple of the least sexual chemistry, and she said, well, the viewers doesn't think so. The public doesn't think so. Like, people are gonna say, oh, to be honest, yeah, it would come across as a smug comment, but realistically, they all see them in bed at night. Even Sammy said, well, you guys don't do it during the day, but we see you guys at night. So obviously, if they're not doing the whole public display, they know it. Whitney with Medi, she wasn't doing it. They've all said it in the past that Whitney's not really into the PDA like that. So at the end of the day, you guys see her and hear her in the bedroom at night times. We've actually seen it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think for them to actually say that, obviously I would have taken offense to it in myself if that was me. And I would have probably said, well, the public doesn't think so. Do you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I don't think it was anything crazy for her to say that, but it's going to be held against her by the public. Do you see what I'm saying? It's going to be held against her. And for Zach to say that he voted her smug because of that comment, I mean, I get it. I understand it, because at the end of the day, he said it was for that comment, so I get it. But for Ty and Ella, I felt like I would have not, because smugged, come on, who wants to be voted as a smugged couple? Like you're showing off and you're going all this and you're going out of your way, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that suits them at all. I don't think Ella and Ty should have chosen Whitney and Lockin as smugged. But I honestly think the fact that she was voted the favorite couple, her and Lockin, it has caused some issues, because I'm going to cast back to this. When that first happened, Ty made a comment to Ella saying, like, well, we weren't voted favorite couple. Do you know what I mean? By the public. I didn't mention it in the thing, because I thought to myself, it's just Ty being Ty. But he did mention that. And it made me now think, you know, is there some form of jealousy? Is there some type of something there? I don't know. Obviously, you guys know that Tyler is one of my favorite couples. And I love Whitney and Lockin. But at the end of the day, fear is fear. We see where they literally, the relationship between Whitney and Ella kind of went left. It went left because they're in the dressing room, and it seems that Ella is in the shower and Whitney wants a shower, and she's like, come on, like, Ella, hurry up. Do you know what I'm saying? Then Ella comes out and say, well, I thought you needed a shower. And Whitney's like, well, you know, I did. But at the end of the day, I started working backwards because you were taking long, so I had to do something. Obviously, she was in the shower for 20 minutes. So with me, if I'm getting ready and I'm waiting for the shower, I'm going to start doing other things. Do you know what I'm saying? And Whitney being Whitney, when they're in the dressing room, she said, well, guys, you know, you guys voted me smugged, so I might as well act smugged and not humble. And then Ella followed up, and I feel like this is where it all went left. Do you know what I'm saying? Because Ella followed up by saying, you know, Whitney, are you the youngest person in your household? And Whitney said yes. And she went, well, that you can see that's very obvious. And for me, people will probably say, oh, that wasn't shady. That for me was shady, because I hate when people say stuff like that to me. That was shady, because for me, right there, she's saying to her, like, she's immature and she's spoiled. That's basically what she's saying, right? And she's agreeing to the fact that Whitney isn't humble. Just by saying that comment, right? You don't have to say actual words. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to say actual words. And obviously, Whitney cut back by saying, you know, Ella, you know, you can be selfish. I think you're one of the most selfish person I know. And, you know, obviously Ella took big offense to it, to the point that she's talking to Ty about it, and she's like saying, I thought we were friends, etc. But, you know, when it comes down to it, who was in the wrong? Who was really in the wrong? At the end of the day, if Ella can make that comment, why can't Whitney make the other comment? Do you see what I'm saying? But Ella saying the comment was stemmed from the challenge. Whitney saying, you know, it's not stemmed from the challenge. It's stemmed from the fact that you took 20 minutes in the shower and were waiting. And it feels like at times you act like you are the priority and it should be all about you. I mean, I probably could understand where Whitney's coming from because, again, casting back to when Ella B, because listen, we didn't touch on this when it happened, but when Ella B was doing her makeup, and then Ella came and she decided, listen, can you just go over that side because my stuff is in here? Do you know what I'm saying? She literally asked Ella B to move. Do you know what I'm saying? And in that situation, to be fair, like I would have taken offense to it. And Ella B did take offense to it to the point that she actually pulled Ella. So, do you know what I mean? Maybe it's just these kind of things. And these are the things that Whitney was touching on that she said, these are the reasons why she felt like Ella was selfish. Right? And obviously she did say, I didn't like the fact that we're friends and you voted me as smug. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I feel like, you know, Ella B will play the victim in this role. I feel like definitely. Only because she will start crying and she gets emotional and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like she will probably take the victim in this role, where Whitney will probably take the villain role, because Whitney won't cry. Whitney is very strong-headed, and Whitney is more of a stronger personality. Do you know what I'm saying? They're both fiery young ladies, but Whitney is probably more of that person that can like keep a stronger demeanor. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like Whitney's probably going to get the role of the villain in this situation. I don't think she deserves it. I don't think either of them deserve it. I think they both need to just sort out this mess. I feel like, do you know what I mean? The producers, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. They did the same thing with Catherine, because they literally painted Catherine in a light where she was kicked out. And I think they see where, you know, Whitney's going towards the favorite, and they had to spin the narrative a little bit, and they wanted to set these two girls up against each other. Now, this is the problem here. I think the problem is the producers. They're doing this, and the viewers, they're going to fall for it. The girls, they fell for it. So, I don't know. I just hope, because I love them both, I really hope that they're able in tomorrow's episode to kind of like come together, talk, and just be honest with each other and just move on. Do you know what I'm saying? You hear like Whitney say to Ella, like, I feel like you struggled to be honest. And then Ella saying, well, you know, I was honest in the challenge and you took offense to it. But I don't think that's what Whitney was talking about. But I think it's generally, because even with the comment with yesterday with Abby, I feel like deep down, do you know what I'm saying? Ella know that the situation is not, do you know what I mean, with Abby and Scott? Because even Ty thinks it, and we see where Ty approaches Scott about it tomorrow. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like Ella, sometimes she's not 100% honest in certain situations. Do you know what I mean? Ty will always be honest and upfront to whatever he feels. And I respect Ty for that, because, and people say Ty's playing the game when he does that, but I don't think he is. I think he's just being Ty and being upfront and straightforward. The same way Whitney is, like, being Whitney, upfront and straightforward, and people sometimes don't like it, and because of that you sometimes get painted as a villain, because we see that with Ty. We see where people come down on Ty hard because of how he is and how vocal he is. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't like the idea of the girls being going up against each other. I don't like it. I feel like this is the narrative of the producers, and I feel like they know what they were doing, and I just don't like it. I really do not like it. These girls were getting on very well. Everything was going good, and now they're being like played against each other. I do not like it. Comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think about tonight's show. Let me know if you think that a particular party was wrong. Let me know. I mean, I don't know, guys. I just want them to sort it out and move on from this. I feel like, you know, this is going to be a stain in their friendship. It really is, because obviously Ella is crying and she said, well, obviously I feel like that means you don't care about me. I don't think that's the case. I just think that Whitney's one of those people that is honest and will say things as it is. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just want them to sort it out and get it over and done with. But like I said, the challenge did what it was meant to be doing. The challenge was challenging. The challenge was challenging indeed. It was doing what it was meant to do. And we just know, obviously, it's not going to just end like that, okay? Molly and Zach, guys. So Molly and Zach, they are back together. They've reunited. They're now happy. Well, so they say, or so they're pretending to be. Because realistically, Molly was saying, you know what? I wanted space. Now she's saying I didn't want the space to him. And you can see where in that conversation Zach got frustrated, because you can see where he just wanted to argue back and say, well, you said you wanted space, but I think he just said, you know what, let me just leave it and just try to make things up, because he doesn't like confrontation. That's really what it is. But in like reality, I know for a fact that I don't think they're gonna work. They're not gonna work on the outside, in the sense where, you know what I mean, she is gonna like try to mark her territory and come down. And like I said, he is not as invested as she is. You know what I'm saying? She's really invested. He's not as invested. And I feel like it's going to stifle him in the end. What else happened tonight, guys? Everything just went up in flames. I'm not going to lie, after this whole thing with Ella and Whitney. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it one bit. But like I said, hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow it gets sorted out. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to leave this review where it is right now, because I'm getting very hot and very sweaty with this ring light. But yes, guys, comment down below. Let me know what you think about tonight's episode. Let me know. And guys, if you've gotten this far in the video and you haven't yet thumbs up the video, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Yes, please. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you get updated every single time I upload a new video. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in tomorrow's episode. But for now, keep it sassy, delicious.